Hey guys, welcome back to Lalooo Seafood. It's me, Lalooo, and my daughter, Brijanay. She's appearing on my cooking channel today, and we're getting in this kitchen. We're going to be making some mac and cheese, some collard greens, some rice, and oxtails, cornbread, all that good stuff. So hang out with us for a little bit, and we're going to bring you along with us as we prepare this delicious Sunday meal. All right, stay tuned. All right, guys. So we are starting off with our collard greens. We soaking them in some water. Want them to be nice and clean so we can cook them. And yes, we're making collard greens, guys. And I like to use smoked turkey wings for my collard greens. That gives my collard greens a nice flavor. So we are rinsing off the turkey wings and we're going to boil them. And then we're going to cook the collard greens in them. All right, so we have our collard greens. We seasoned them up. We have some peppers in there. We have the smoked turkey wings. We have some onions. We have some chicken broth. And over here, I'm chopping up onions for the oxtails. We're going to chop up some onions, chop up some green peppers, and get ready to stew our oxtails. So hey guys, I've been slacking a little on the channel. Please forgive me. I do have a lot going on throughout the week. I will try to bring more content to you guys on a weekly basis, but please forgive me again. So we're back in the kitchen. We're making oxtails today. I had a taste for some oxtails. I hadn't made them in a while, so we're going to do some oxtails today. And some baked mac and cheese and collard greens, cornbread, and rice. So this is what I'm doing. I'm chopping up my peppers. Gonna season up the oxtails. Normally I like to season them overnight, but since this was a spare of the moment type of thing, I just went ahead and seasoned them up. So right here I'm stewing them. I'm gonna brown them in some oil. And then I'm going to bake them. So they have already been pre-seasoned. Now we're just going to brown them in some oil in a skillet and let them cook partially. And then we're going to let them bake the rest of the way. And I like to bake them for a very long time. So they're going to probably bake for about 1.5 to 2 hours. All right. They smell so delicious. So we have our oxtails stewing. They are almost ready to go into the baking pan. I preheated my oven to about 350. And again, we're going to cook these in the oven covered up with some aluminum foil for about 1.5 to 2 hours. The longer the better. You want them nice and tender. So yes, we have these delicious oxtails today. And as you can see, the juice from the oxtails, I did add some oxtail seasoning, some onion soup seasoning. We have our onions and peppers. And now we're going to just put the baking pan in the oven and let them bad boys bake so that they get nice and tender. Over here we have our mac and cheese, guys. The elbow noodles is our go-to. So we use 1 box of elbow noodles. They are already cooked. I didn't want them to overcook because they're going to cook some more in the oven. So we are going to mix some butter around in the pan to make sure they're nice and butter like we want them. And guys, mac and cheese is like my number one favorite. You have to have some mac and cheese. Come on, oxtails with some mac and cheese, bussin'. All right, and some collard greens, bussin'. All right, so we're just gonna roll the butter around in the elbow noodles while they're nice and hot and get them nice and buttery. And then we're going to start to prep our cheese. Again, this was a spur of the moment type of thing, I would have already had these things pre-cut. But since we're, you know, just doing this spontaneously, I gotta cut up everything right now. So we're gonna cut up some Velveeta cheese. We're gonna cut up some Monterey Jack cheese, some white aged cheddar cheese, and some Kobe Jack cheese. And we're gonna use some shredded cheese, of course. The more the cheese, the merrier. And so I'm getting ready to chop up the Velveeta. We're gonna chop them up in some small cubes because we want them to melt in the pan, and we don't want it to have to take too long to melt. So we're going to chop up the cheese in small pieces. All right, we have our Velveeta, we have our aged white cheddar cheese, we have our Kobe Jack cheese, we have our shredded cheeses, and this mac and cheese is going to be so good. So what are you guys doing on this Sunday? As you can see what I'm doing, I'm in my kitchen and I'm cooking up this delicious meal. I did go to church today, me and my two little ones. And after church, we stopped by my sister's house, and then we made our way to the store to pick up some things so that we can prepare our Sunday meal. And now here we are, putting out content for you guys. I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And like I said, I will make it my business to put more content out weekly for you guys. The channel is growing slowly, but you guys need to see more content, which I am aware of. Okay, so we will be putting more content out for you. All right, guys, so we're almost finished chopping up the cheese. Chop, chop, chop. This is the white aged cheddar cheese. It's very hard, but it adds a delicious taste to the mac and cheese. I'm sure there is millions of cheeses and recipes out for mac and cheese. I'm just using what works and what I have, and it did the job. That mac and cheese was bussin'. But yeah. So guys, comment down below. Let me know what some of your mac and cheese recipes are. If you have some tips for me, I would love to see what tips you guys have. And we're going to get started in a few with this melting the cheese. Almost finished cutting them up in blocks. So yeah, we're going to have us some delicious mac and cheese, guys. All right. Lastly, we're going to chop up the Kobe Jack cheese. And then we're going to start to add our milk, our butter, and heat everything over the stove so that it can melt. And we can get that roux going for our mac and cheese. I also added some sour cream to it. Just a hint of sour cream is all you need. It does give your mac and cheese a nice flavor. So that was another added recipe that I use for my mac and cheese, guys. So I'm just showing you what I have for the shredded. I have a mac and cheese blend. I have some cheddar cheese, and then I have, oh yeah, that's the sharp cheddar one, the mac and cheese blend, and I believe we have like a Monterey Jack blend. So we're going to use some whole milk. I used about a cup and a half, and we're going to use about a half a stick of butter, and we're going to melt that in the pot, add the milk, and then slowly add our cheese. All right, guys, and thanks for hanging out with me. We do love and appreciate your support. All right, so Getting the measuring cup. Like I said, we're going to pour about a cup of milk, and then I added like another maybe half a cup of milk to it. All right. The butter is here. Gonna cut about a half a stick of butter and let that melt in the pot, and then add our milk and add our cheese. All right, guys. We're gonna have us some mac and cheese in a short while. All right, so the oxtails is still cooking in the oven, and we have our mac and cheese about to go in as soon as we're done melting the cheese. And here is the cheese. So we're gonna stir it and stir it until we get it to a nice consistency. And then we're gonna pour it over our cooked noodles. And guys, I already tasted the noodles. They have a nice taste to them already, so I know my mac and cheese is gonna be good. All right, here we are with the finished mac and cheese ready to go into the oven. We already added our shredded cheese on top. I'm gonna wrap this up with some aluminum foil and let it bake. And voila, we have our mac and cheese, guys. Don't it look delicious? Yum, yum. All right. This meal is coming to an end, guys. And here is the finished plate. Oxtails, collard greens, mac and cheese, rice, cornbread. Voila.
I'm glad you liked the video, Mommy.
Again, thanks for hanging out with me in Laloo's Seafood and Laloo's Kitchen. And stay tuned for more content.